So, did you guys send me my script?
Somebody sent it out.
Who sent it out? I need to find it so I can.
On Friday.
Andrea, you are correct.
Ms. Doris.
You know, I get too many. Send it to me again, would you?
Sure.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Chris, we have to discuss one of your members as soon as possible. We really need to do a biblical study on one of your members. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll talk about it over lunch.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be exciting. It's good to see all of you, though. I love each of you and all of you. Thankful for you, and I've had some great conversations with your son too. And if there's any Tanner you want me to talk about, I only have good things to say.
You see how that's
Pastor
done,
Chris?
Daryl, you see how that's done?
I don't mind learning from the best, just you.
Andrea, you sent me something, but there's nothing attached.
Let me try again.
Larry. No,
How you doing?
you can't be driving during the meeting.
No,
Okay, we ready to start?
we're still waiting for Daryl.
Who's not here? Is Raj here?
Raj won't make it today.
It's a phone call. This is not a hard meeting to make. Hey, Tiffany, are you all better now? You're still sick?
Well, last week, the end of the week last week, I felt great and was really excited to go back to work. And then Friday or Saturday, I started having some more issues. And then Saturday morning, woke up with a fever again. I don't know.
You've been sick a month.
Over. Pushing 2 months.
Jonathan, can't you fix her? I mean, come on.
There's a small group of patients now they call chronic fatigue that comes on after the COVID infection. We're still learning about it. For the most part, it's bronchitis and pneumonia, but chronic fatigue is becoming a discussion in our group, in our medical groups.
Wow.
Is that what they're calling long haulers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We see it with other infections like CMV, Epstein-Barr, HIV. It looks like COVID might be heading that way too.
Great. Really don't.
We're laughing. We're not laughing at you, Tiffany. We're laughing.
That's not a lot to look forward to.
Oh.
No.
Wow.
And then the air quality doesn't help.
Oh, all these fires.
That's so true.
I blame those elected officials who refuse to wear their masks. Well, who could that be? That was your cue, Marvin.
I have my mask on.
I wasn't talking about you. All right, let's start. City Clerk, can we have the roll call? Call the meeting to order and let's go.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Doris,
Present.
Molly, Mann,
Present.
Vice Mayor Chris,
Present.
Mayor Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Good.
Move to excuse Council Member Raj Mali.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do a roll call vote.
Unanimous.
Call, please.
Okay.
Rex,
What?
you need to do a roll call vote.
Oh. You're kidding.
Nope. Everything has to be roll call.
Well, then let's not excuse it. Let's just. All right, call the roll.
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris,
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
Yes. Okay, moving on. So we have Pastor Chris Johnson to do the prayer this evening. Good. We've been doing without for a while. Ready?
Well, let's pray together. Let's seek the
Good.
Lord.
Good.
Father, we do thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. And Lord, we need you, even as the fires were mentioned, as Tiffany's health was mentioned, and battling COVID-19 even locally. We just pray for your divine intervention. I pray for wisdom for these city council members and for the entire staff. Thank you for who you have risen up in leadership for such a time as this, Lord. I believe that you have called each of them to their position, and I ask that you would bless them in it. Father, we pray that you would just give divine wisdom. And we ask for our students in schools who are doing school online, Lord. I pray that you would bless those teachers. Father, thank you for this community. Would you protect and preserve us in Jesus' name? Amen.
Amen.
Bless you all.
Thank you, Chris.
Amen.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. City Manager, any items to be removed?
No, sir.
Thank you. A presentation on Minecraft physics. Well, I'm actually interested in hearing this.
Yes, Mayor, we figured you would be. We had the opportunity to hear a little bit of the story. I thought it'd be a great opportunity for the council to see it and hear it, and then also an opportunity in the future to partner through our Parks Department with the group they'll be presenting. So with that, I'll turn it over to have them share their screen and tell the story. I don't know what Minecraft is, and I don't think I know what physics is, but I'm going to learn.
Okay, you guys, turn on your microphones.
Hello. Waiting on Nilesh to share his screen here before we get started. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Noah Hemming. I'm a senior at Quartz Hill High School, and today I am accompanied by two of my peers, Nilesh Kumar and Pranesh Kumar, on behalf of our educational program, Science Craft. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and we really hope you're intrigued by our presentation and that you can help us achieve our goals.
All right, so hi everyone. My name is Pranesh Kumar. To start off, I would like to run you through our story and the events leading up to how we began Science Craft in the first place. So when I first started high school, I decided to participate in the Physics 101 college class to enrich my understanding of science. Little did I know that the class would help spark a fascination with physics, and since then I've aimed to share my knowledge in the subject through various projects. One pursuit was an educational program called Physics of Engineering, where I taught physics and engineering through projects centered around Rube Goldberg machines. The students really enjoyed the lessons that I gave, and some teachers admired that I was teaching physics, a subject which is underrepresented given our community's roots in engineering and aerospace. When COVID-19 hit, the plan was to adapt physics of engineering to an online setting and keep the same fun and lively experience that came with teaching student to student. Minecraft is really the platform, the perfect platform for such a program. It's one of the most popular video games in the world among our younger generation, and it's a sandbox game, which is very easy to understand. I'm sure that some of your kids or grandkids have likely heard of Minecraft and are probably active players of the game as well. So we started the Minecraft Physics Camp during the month of July that reached out to over 60 students, probably because Minecraft is so appealing. Seeing the success of our program, we thought it was only natural to expand it and create an all-around more impactful and inclusive experience.
So that's what we've already done, but what is our vision moving forward? So during the program in July, we were really shocked to see what had developed. This was no longer just a summer program that was a continuation of something to give some students something to do. It was a community full of students excited to learn new things. Now, students currently are not motivated to seek out the wealth of resources out there on the internet because they miss out on the live educational experience. In ScienceCraft, however, students are found actively engaging with fellow students, creating friendships, and motivating each other to actually succeed in class. We're not trying to infringe upon our current educational institutions, rather, we're trying to foster a community of students willing to enrich themselves and supplement their existing learning. Especially during quarantine, so many bright young students find solace in video games. They allow you to work towards a virtual goal with your friends and do something from the comfort of your home. But I'm sure you all are aware that video games are not necessarily the most productive use of your time. So we determined that if we can replicate this sort of gaming community in ScienceCraft, students will make better use of their time while still having fun. And so our second vision of ScienceCraft is to open up new windows for students to look through. Our curriculum puts an emphasis on topics that students don't learn in a traditional middle school environment, like physics or environmental science. With both of these topics, middle schoolers won't reach education on these topics until senior or junior year, and they have to explicitly decide they want to take a class on them. I know that when I was in 7th grade, I participated in this one-time program that taught me some really basic information you'd find in a sophomore year chem class. But at the time, it was fascinating to me, and I think that's really determined the direction I've taken in high school with my class choices, extracurriculars, and so on. And so we're really hoping to deliver the same experience with ScienceCraft. You can see here, this was some feedback from our Minecraft physics program. We sent out a Google form to all of the families involved in our program. You could see that not only did we have really high attendance, but we also had a large volume of positive feedback. So this is really what keeps us going, and it's what made us pursue the program further.
Now, we've been talking about Minecraft Physics Camp and ScienceCraft, but what exactly is ScienceCraft? Well, as Noah said, ScienceCraft is the embodiment of this vision moving forward. It's a semester-long program where students can log in 2 days a week from September to December, expecting to learn more about the topics that we teach that day. We hope to challenge them to open up their minds to new ideas and have fun in the community that we foster. Some of the unique features of our ScienceCraft program include the fact that it is totally student-run, completely virtual, filled with exciting challenges, free, and there are cash incentives for the students to participate. We will discuss all of this in the coming slides. Now, you may be wondering, how do we pull this off? Well, students begin by joining us in Discord, a platform where multiple classes are run synchronously in different channels by student teachers. The first 30 minutes consists of a presentation where we teach a series of STEM concepts and incorporate multiple activities to keep the lecture engaging. Afterwards, we hold an Kahoot as a review, which is a platform similar to trivia that is fun and interactive. Classes end with a short 15 to 20 minute period where we just have fun with the students and play arcade games on Minecraft and make sure that they're also having fun while playing Minecraft. We also post lectures on our YouTube channel for students to catch up on the info that they might miss. For this fall program, we also plan on holding a variety of events that will supplement the students' learning. This includes a virtual science fair where students get to build and demonstrate a project in Minecraft to a group of judges.
And so on the screen here, you could see these are just 3 sample slides from our previous program. We have 24 presentations of these for our upcoming semester-long science craft program. And just notice that they're a skeleton of information, and then in the actual lectures, we elaborate on them. They're really easy to understand, and there's lots of opportunities for students to really engage with the content, whether it's Minecraft-based questions or practice problems. We take them through step by step. And then the second part of our class is, of course, the build challenges. And this is what makes our program unique from another sort of teaching program. We really challenge students to use their potential by giving them open-ended challenges, and then we give them time to build in Minecraft on our server. And they're really forced to think about the science concepts at play, and this enables the program to become something beyond just a recitation of facts. Instead, students process the idea, make it their own, and truly learn it. So for example, if we were to teach something about projectile motion, we might assign a TNT cannon build to the students, and then they can have fun, shooting explosive projectiles. But once they have come up with this, they are tasked with explaining and showing us that they have learned. Of course, to tailor to less Minecraft savvy students, we post tutorials on our YouTube channel. And to incentivize students to really engage, we offer the aforementioned end of program rewards to students who perform well over time.
So in terms of who is actually running Science Craft, one thing that's unique about our program is that it is entirely student run. We have an administrative team consisting of 8 core high school members who make decisions and direct the vision of Science Craft. All of us are accomplished high school students with extensive experience in science. It's a really diverse team that we've established, and their strengths lie in different areas, which allows us to tackle a wide variety of problems thrown at us. Beyond our core 8, we also have other student volunteers helping us out. So now we're going to get into what we are really requesting from you, the City Council Board. So now that we've finished explaining Science Craft and our vision, I would like to kindly ask Mr. Mayor and to all the honorable board members about how you can help us expand our program. We are high school students after all, and we need your help in expanding our program to larger audiences. Remember, a larger audience means an even better community and experience for the students we're trying to reach out to. Kindly, we'd like to ask for your help through these requests.
The first is that you can advertise our program on the Lancaster City website under the Parks, Recreation, and Arts section. This will be a great way to spread awareness about Science Craft to people viewing the Lancaster website. We can follow up this presentation by providing both a flyer and caption with information about the program, which can be posted on the website. It would also be great if we could have the flyer of our program shared with the school boards of local school districts. Getting flyers posted on the social media of a school district is usually a tedious process, and it requires approval from the school board. However, we are hoping that with the support of the City Council, we can get the approval of the school boards of local school districts, such as Lancaster School District or Westside School District. This would help us immensely in getting the word out to parents and students.
Additionally, we are asking for your support in connecting us with local or countywide newspapers in the Antelope Valley, such as the AV Press. And this would be really great if they could write an article detailing our program and our aim of providing a fun online STEM experience, which could help us gain much needed publicity for the program.
Finally, we would truly appreciate it if you could connect us with future board meetings and with school districts outside of the Antelope Valley. We are aiming big with this program, and we hope that we can reach out to school districts in the Los Angeles area and even throughout the state of California. Getting the opportunity to present our project and receive support from the Board of Education in Los Angeles, for example, would be a dream for us and an opportunity we definitely would not miss out on. Overall, any actions or support that you can give to our program to give us exposure on a large level would be greatly appreciated. An endorsement from this board would really mean so much. Thank you all so much for your time. And once again, we appreciate any help we would receive. Thank you.
Thank you. So who wants to take over this project? Jason?
I don't know that necessarily we want to take over the project. In communicating with them early, I think we have resources that can expand their program, whether it be through the Parks Department and helping them registration and or our social media. I think there's an opportunity here to market and showcase their efforts if that's something the council wants to do. But from a connection perspective, we'll have somebody in the Parks and Recreation Arts with your guidance or with your direction, reach out to them and try to develop the program.
Okay, once you get the program developed, can you report back to us, please?
I will let them report back. I think they're going to have far greater insight than I will, but absolutely, we'd love them to come back and share their successes. I think it's a really cool program.
Okay, and so while you guys are doing this, I need somebody to explain to me why things get shorter when they hit the speed of light. You know, maybe some other time, but struggling with that. Larry, do you know? Larry, you there?
I have no idea why things would get shorter when they hit the speed of light, but it's a great question. I think these young guys would probably figure that out better than I would.
So do you guys know the answer to that?
It's called the Doppler effect of light.
Really?
Yeah. So what happens is...
Are you making that up?
No, I kid you not. It's the
really fast.
Yeah, when it depends on where you are. Are you the observer, or are you on the speed on the light itself? And as you go faster, time changes and all sorts of stuff. But I still don't know. I tried.
I mean, I sort of understand how time slows down, but I don't understand how things get shorter. But I guess I'm not meant to understand everything.
I took 3 semesters of physics and I forgot it all.
Okay, thanks, guys. The city will work with you. We'll do everything we can for you. We'll get this thing put together. All right? Good presentation.
Thank you.
All right. Now I'm going to turn the meeting over to, is Kitty here?
No, she will not be in attendance tonight, nor will Housing Member Harvey.
I'm sorry.
Do we have a quorum?
We do not have a quorum for the Housing Authority tonight, so it would be appropriate for the board secretary, who is the city clerk, to adjourn the meeting for lack of quorum. So, Andrea, if you can simply say that the Housing Authority meeting is adjourned for lack of quorum, we'll pick it up in the next council meeting.
Okay. The Lancaster Housing Authority meeting is adjourned due to lack of quorum.
Thank you.
What a disgrace. I mean, truly disgraceful.
Let's talk to her employer.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, the problem is, Marvin, that he doesn't give her enough time off.
Off? My people don't get time off.
See? What'd I tell you?
You know, they should be grateful they have a job, right? All right, moving on.
Leaders eat last.
That's right. That's right. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Are there any speaker cards?
I think we need to do the council action on the minutes.
Oh, that's right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve M1.
Is there a second?
I second that, Ken Mann.
Andrea, if you could call the roll, please.
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Molly, Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Christ,
Yes.
Mayor Pear.
Yes. Hey, you know what, guys?
Unanimously.
Oh, passage unanimously. Is that what you wanted? Okay. So guess what, guys? There's this national fire, department publication that they want to feature us as to how we've handled the COVID-19, and that is, certainly because of all the good efforts of your mayor. No, I mean, it was because of you guys. I mean, seriously, our COVID-19 team. Look what you've done. They view how you guys have dealt with this COVID-19 as probably the the template for what other cities should be doing, and they want to get it memorialized so that the next epidemic that comes along, it won't be as difficult. You know? And so as we're preparing it, I was thinking, you know, probably the biggest mistake we've made in this is that the federal government assigned the groups that were too large. It should not be done by county. It really needs to be done by the city, because you have flexibility and you can pull in the different programs as they're needed instead of running everybody out of business unnecessarily. You know?
Are you talking about local control?
That's what I'm talking about, is local control. But it's not just a word in this case. It's not just a phrase that we can throw about. It actually, we have demonstrable factual support, and the data supports that this really was the way to do it. When you take our death toll and compare it to, you know, per capita, I mean, what you guys did, you saved a lot of people's lives. And you need to be really proud of that. I mean, how often can you do that? I'm just so proud to be part of it. But it was really your efforts that you walked into this thing not knowing anything about it. You know, we're still learning. Just ask Tiffany. I mean, we had no idea. You had no idea really how to treat it, how to save and very quickly you I don't know, it was miraculous. It was truly miraculous. You have a lot to be proud of. Thank you. And we're going to write it up, and it's going to be distributed to every fire department in the country. And hopefully it will be a better response next time. Okay, consent calendar. Are there any speakers on the consent calendar?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on any item on the consent calendar, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your call-in number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you want to comment on any item on the consent calendar.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar is currently comprised.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Andrea, if you could call the roll, please.
City Council Member Doris?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. Passes unanimously. Moving on to council agenda item 1, the appointment of Sean Cannon as Commissioner to the Social Equity Commission.
Mr. Mayor, are you jumping past the new business items?
I did what?
Are you skipping the new business items for now?
Did I skip the new business items?
You did.
Yes.
It's probably because I saw my wife come in with dinner, and so I'm trying to speed up. Okay, let's go back.
That's a Daryl move.
So let's go back to the new business items. NB1.
Yes.
Are there any?
Thank you, Mayor. Periodically, as a result of the emergency and the processes we do, we have to pass a resolution extending the emergency. Today, that action is requested of you to extend the emergency, and the answer is yes, we should extend the emergency. I want to do a quick recap of where we're at with regard to our response and then where we need to go still. From the number of cases total, Lancaster has a total of 3,034 cases to date. We have assumed about 2,751 of them have recovered, although that is a flexible number, as we hear from Tiffany, that recovery is a questionable answer. But nonetheless, these are those folks that have had COVID longer than 14 days, and that's where we come up with the calculation. And then citywide, we've had 43 deaths. From a facilities perspective, we've opened up the field centers at the fairgrounds, which are still open and ready to go if necessary. We have not yet needed to use those. We've had supplies are on hand and set up for a second one if needed. And the testing center at AD Hospital has been activated, currently processing 25 test patients a day. We started with city employees. We're now working in the business community. reaching out to them to ask their employees to come and get tested. And then as we fill those systems up, we're going to be opening that to the public where they can come in and get tested for COVID. And that's a partnership with AV Hospital. Dr. Stock and Dr. Trong and Tiffany, of course, are leading that effort and have done a wonderful job. So hopefully getting more testing in the community. This is a rapid test, so the turnaround time is very quick. So that has been a success. Supplies on hand, if you recall at the beginning of it, everybody was struggling for supplies. That no longer is an issue. We've got 4,000 gloves, 50 gallons of hand sanitizer, 45,000 masks, 5,000 gallons, and 500 Tyvek suits. We've delivered 1,100 gallons to AV Hospital, 5,000 masks to Lancaster Community Senior Facilities, doctor's office, et cetera. We're also donating those or delivering those to businesses who are needing help opening up. From a small business services perspective, we've received 115 applications for small business assistance, reopening assistance, and we've spent over $100,000 on special items such as hand sanitizers, cleaning products, face masks, gloves, touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, plexi shields. Go down a list of everything a business needs to open up, including barriers for a traffic perspective if a restaurant is opening outside, et cetera. Those resources continue to be available. And so if those businesses are out there that are looking to open up or need that assistance, we are here for you to provide those services. And we wherever we need more, we will get more on behalf of the community. We worked with getting parklets on the boulevard design. Some of you have seen them where you can move out. They call them parklets, where you move businesses not only into the sidewalk, but also into the street with barriers, opening up outdoor dining. We've got 142 gallons of hand sanitizer delivered, 18,000 disposable masks to those groups, 60,000 gloves, and 505 packets of paper towels. So just, again, focusing on the small business, getting that information out. On the small business loan front, a total of 76 have been requested at $1.3 million loan value. We've also done the CAR program, the Operation Restart, I think it was the title, I'm drawing a blank right now, where we delivered $1.5 million of assistance to people who were buying vehicles. Those funds have been expended. Our auto mall has done a phenomenal job in getting cars sold still. They're down from a volume perspective, but not only does this help our sales tax, but it also puts a couple extra dollars in people's pockets when they come and buy a vehicle, which has been huge to not only for those people buying the vehicle, but to the businesses selling them. Project Door Drop, we've delivered nearly 12,000 meals up till the 4th of this month. And we've opened our daycare available for essential workers to be operating. In spite of all that, we are still obviously in an emergency, and there's a couple things that we see forthcoming, and I think the mayor has commented on some of these. One is the continued business needs. Obviously, we've seen the first spike, which closed us down. We've then went through the second spike, which had impacts from a business perspective. Those numbers are down again, so we anticipate the county opening up further as those numbers come down. I think the most recent, Dr. Stock can confirm that I think we have 2 in the ICU, and then we have about 14 patients that are in the hospital currently. So those numbers are significantly down from a staffing perspective of the hospital. So as a result of that, if history repeats itself, you will start seeing the county opening up some of these businesses again, which then, of course, causes us to jump in and help them open. But 2, also then increases the number of COVID potentially as we balance the economy versus health. So we'll start seeing that, be tracking that. In addition, we're looking at vaccines, and we've had the conversation currently with Dr. Trong, Stock, and Tiffany Tanner talking about vaccines and what that looks like for us as a community, how we get our fair share of that, and what is the most optimal way to distribute that. It is very early in these stages, but obviously it's key that if these resources are available, that we need to be in the front of the line, raising our hand and saying we have the capacity, we have the capability to partner with health agencies to help deliver these. So we're working down that path as well. It is important to note too, and Dr. Trong has some stats on this, which is interesting, is that the current flu season is super important. So communication staff will be putting a major push out as it relates to getting the current flu vaccine, not for COVID, but the current flu vaccine that is available. Not only will it, help our medical resources, it'll help you, stay healthy, but it's going to be a big push to see if our community can get as much flu vaccinations as possible. I'm a Kaiser patient, so I went to Kaiser recently, and they don't let you leave the building without a flu shot. So it's those kind of efforts that cause us to be hopefully a little more healthy as a community. But we are still prepared and able, ready to willing to serve in this emergency. Obviously, it's ever rapidly changing emergency, but nonetheless, we still believe it is an emergency, and we would recommend your ratification of this resolution to continue that.
Dr. Trong and Larry, do you realize that you guys have kept the mortality rate lower than the flu for COVID-19? That is miraculous. I mean, when you look at those numbers, it's miraculous. Wow. Okay, listen, on this flu thing, I want a program in place that we tell these businesses that they will get no further help from the city unless they have a flu vaccination program in place. That applies to the churches as well. We have done all kinds of things to make it so churches can keep operating. We've given city facilities. We're breaking all kinds of rules, keeping people up and running. I want something back from them. I want their people vaccinated with that flu. And if they don't have a program in place to make that happen, pull those services back. And I know that's harsh, but I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to see 100 people die needlessly because we didn't push the flu vaccine. The city staff, do not let them in the building unless they have a flu vaccine or a reason why they can't get one. That's what we're doing at our office now. This is no longer an optional program for people. This is going to have to be mandatory until this COVID-19 is over. We cannot crush our medical service providers with a dual epidemic going on at the same time. What does the council think of that? Are they supportive of that, or they think I'm being too harsh, or what?
We're not agendized to take action or reach a consensus on that tonight, so we can bring it back at a future agenda.
Just tell them everybody in this city knows what we're capable of doing. We can do wonderful things for you, but we can be harsh as harsh can be. We will not allow anyone in our city to die needlessly because we're going to have dual epidemics and we're heading right into them. Also, if we got all those extra masks, you think we could give some to the mayor of Palmdale and maybe he could wear his mask when he's in public meetings? Just see if that's what the problem is. Maybe they just need some masks. What do you think?
We have masks available for everybody, sir.
Thank you. Marvin, what do you think?
I have a couple questions before Allison stops me. If the churches don't have a program in place, the city of Lancaster will help.
Absolutely.
In place. So
Absolutely.
If they're going to incur problems in that, then we'll help them get it in place. Correct? Yeah,
we'll do everything we can.
Okay.
And Tiffany will even get off her deathbed and make certain that there's. Can you imagine Tiffany's doing all this work and she's sick? I mean, wow. We got some real heroes on this council. And no, Daryl, that does not mean you and me. I guess it isn't actually on the council. It's in the city. I mean, it's just a great place to be right now. Okay. Anything else, Dr. Trong? Dr. Stock, should we know anything?
You mentioned masking. That's actually very, very important. So what happens now is currently Australia is in the southern hemisphere, and they're facing their winter. And for the past 5 years, they've tracked all their influenza cases, and their conclusions are that they don't have a flu season at all because people wore masks, social distance, washed their hands, and didn't touch their face. All the things they did to prevent COVID indirectly helped influenza as well. So the combination of all that plus the influenza vaccine together will really help reduce morbidity and mortality if we're successful with it.
Good.
Mayor, one thing I would add is we continue to see the real high risk stuff is the mass gatherings. There was one report I read today about the Sturgis motorcycle gathering that there, as a result of that, 60,000 new COVID cases, and the cost of care estimated about $12 billion because people came, then went home, and some of them caught it and they spread it. So and we're also seeing the kids who've gone back to, which are supposed to be filled with really smart people, yet many of them did not have a plan in place for these students returning. And so they had a letter from the university saying, be careful. And then they all went and did what young people do. And a lot of them within a few weeks came down with COVID. So it's all of the stuff you've done in the city. If people had taken those precautions, have a bit of a structure to their activities and their behaviors, they would have been far better off. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and keep sending those good messages out.
$12 billion. 12 plus the people who didn't go to the damn thing, they brought it to them and they died anyway. You know, I mean.
Can I ask a favor from this? I don't know if the doctors or city or Tiffany Tanner can help me. And I do not want to say that I'm speaking for all African Americans when I say this, but we really need to make a difference right now because of what's going on with this supposedly new COVID medicine that's maybe coming out, or people's arguing over the test and how fast it is. We really need to make sure that people understand, especially in African American churches, that they are not the guinea pigs for some new medication for COVID, or that this is truly the flu shot, and that's what we're asking them to give. And I say that because an urban legend, well, it's not an urban legend, it actually happened. The Tuskegee experiment is something that's very deeply rooted in our culture. And so because of that, I have to admit, my doctor made me take a flu shot, and I fought it to the very end that I did not want to take the flu shot. I can count on my hand how many flu shots I've taken. And I hate to say that as a leader, but we usually just take home remedies and we stay away from folks. So certain cultures, I don't know if it's just our culture, but I believe we really have to make sure that when we say that strong language that Rex wants us to say, especially to the African American community, churches, that we are saying that this is really the flu shot. It's not some, trial that's secretly being done on African Americans, especially since we have been the ones now that are leading, along with the other Hispanics and different ones with the hypertension, and because we are so, our DNA calls us to have the pre-existing.
I forgot about what has been inflicted on the African American community in the form of vaccinations.
So that's a major.
Very real when you're the victim.
Right. It's a very major fear. I was literally, I just got a couple of texts from people as we're speaking now about that. Like, so you guys are going to force it on me. And so I just wanted to make sure that our information, Rex, if we say this, it has to really be as on point as possible. And that we're really letting people know this is not a COVID test. This is not a group study. This is what we've been doing, flu shots, and it's for you good. So that's just my concern.
Daryl,
I would hope. Go ahead, Larry. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Daryl, just so you know, if this gives anyone in any resident of Lancaster some comfort, the hospitals are making it mandatory for every staff member, every medical staff member, to get the shot. You have to opt out. You have to have some particularly good reason. And then you have to wear, if it wasn't a normal, if it wasn't COVID, you'd have to wear a mask to work throughout flu season if you're not going to get the vaccination. So this is not, so if all the medical staff members and all of the hospital staff members are getting the shot, which is, I think we're upwards of 90% every flu season, then you can be sure we're not taking it because it's an experiment. Or anyone's being tested upon.
Yeah, but I think he has a good point. I think there is an innate suspicion in some groups that we're going to have to figure out a way around.
Yeah, that for sure.
And I appreciate that, Daryl. I don't know what we're going to do about it because we've just got to do this. We just have to do this.
I agree. I didn't get sick. I didn't. So far, I'm good. I'm feeling well. The doctor told me I might have a little cold symptoms, but I didn't even get that. But my daughter, who is graduating with her master's degree, lit me up about taking a shot. And I think she's highly educated right now. So I see it still ingrained. And I didn't even know where she got that from until I talked to my mother, which is her grandmother. And it's just something that's just kind of sent down. Now, I'm not saying all African Americans are like that, but I do hear a large number being a pastor. And again,
it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
You know, it happened both in our country and it happened in South Africa. I mean, but I don't know what to do about it, except, Tiffany, get those people vaccinated. I mean, everybody in our city.
I'll work. And I think it comes back down to the same thing that we were dealing with at the start of this, which is having those conversations over and over and over and just putting it all out there, and having documentation for folks, because, you know, having the documentation helps. So, but having conversations helps more.
Yeah. I'm encouraged that we're able to start opening businesses up and people are behaving appropriately. But that could all come to a screaming halt if people start having parties without masks. And do we now have an arrangement with the sheriff's department to start enforcing the mask rules a little more stringently?
They have the authority to enforce the mask rules, and I think they'll do that when necessary. If there's a stronger enforcement mechanism where we actually go out and do, I don't want to call them sting operations, but do active enforcement on a regular basis, we have the authority to do that. Yes, they currently have the authority to cite for masks.
I don't want to fall back. I don't want to have to be telling these businesses they got to close down again. And with that being the goal, if they roll on any parties and they're having parties without people wearing masks, that has to be reported to us. And I think we may do what Mayor Garcetti's doing and just shutting off the water. But it's got to get a little more draconian, because we've got to hold the line where we are now if we're going to keep these businesses open. And I don't want to be the one telling these folks they got to close down again. I mean, it's devastating to these folks, but it's going to require efforts both ways. Okay, Tiffany, get the city vaccinated. Find out if the schools are vaccinating the kids when they come back. Are they? Do we know? You got to unmute.
I don't think a decision's been made about that yet. I've still been hearing talk about it with respect to COVID, but not with respect to flu shot.
You know, when somebody gets elected to the school board, you expect them to have the IQ of something north of a gnat. This cannot be optional. You know, Jason figured this out, what we have to do to get involved in this. We cannot let these kids go to school if we don't have vaccination programs in place, because everything we've done is just going to go. Am I right, Dr. Tron?
Yeah, study shows that if a community is able to vaccinate 80% of the children, then that community avoids the flu season for the year. Same thing with nursing homes. If 80% of the nursing home residents get vaccinated, that nursing home will not get a flu season go through them. So it's well documented in many places. That's why all healthcare workers get vaccinated, because we know that it protects our patients.
This is a no-brainer. Okay, Jason, I really would like a meeting with the school officials, and I'd like to know what their plan is to get 80% of their kids vaccinated. And if they don't have a plan, maybe we need to do road repairs and close those schools.
Right. Now, just a side note, remember, they're not going to school currently. So that changes the dynamic of their access to those children. So that may be a challenge. I'll schedule a meeting, but they're in their homes currently. They're not at school. So there's a challenge there.
To that note, I think that because a lot of people are working remotely as well, there's going to be fewer people who have the normal access that they would have had to flu vaccines. So kids are at home. also there's so many people working from home. They would have gotten their shot at work. They may not know where to go to get a shot. So we need to work on that too.
Okay, well, that's part of the vaccination program you guys are putting together, right? So we can, okay. Has anybody made contact with the county as to what their policy is going to be and distribute them? Because they're probably going to do it like the CARES program and let the county decide who gets the vaccine.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that on our call earlier. I think it's real early to determine how that's going to be distributed. I think we know that McKesson, as the doctors mentioned, is going to be the one distributing those. I've got our McKesson is a company who's going to be delivering those. It's just the delivery method. We're going to keep an eye on it. We've talked with our federal lobbyists to identify if there's, when we start hearing information, how we get that to make sure that we're in line as a community. I don't know if Dr. Trong wants to add to that, or Dr. Stock, as it relates to how these get distributed.
So they think it's going to be similar to what Virgin did for remdesivir when the federal government turned over the supply to that company, the Virgin Distribution Company. They basically looked at the number of cases of COVID in the community, and the communities with the highest cases got the most remdesivir. So LA County received a lot, the bulk of the remdesivir. Similarly, McKesson is known for being the largest influenza vaccine distribution in the country. They had a contract with the CDC back in 2009 when H1N1 first appeared. So they're very good at the distribution networks for vaccines. And so they are the ones now assigned to distribute it. And I would guess they would use probably the same algorithm that they did for remdesivir, but we don't know. It's kind of unknown right now. What I've done is I've reached out to my colleagues in UCLA, Cedars-Sinai, University Health, other counterparts, and see what they've heard. And so far, nothing yet. November 1st is supposed to be the date of the be prepared to. The CDC sent out to all the health departments to be prepared to distribute November the 1st, but I'm uncertain that we will have a vaccine by that time. But at least have the infrastructure ready. So it'd be nice if we're in line with McKesson. It'd be good that we have that.
What are we doing to prevent a repeat of the county withholding testing? Remember how they withheld the testing from us because they didn't like Lancaster? We embarrassed them. Let's be honest. We had much better results and it embarrassed them. But I do not want to see that when it comes to the vaccine. What are we doing to make certain that doesn't happen, Jason?
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, we're monitoring it right now. We don't know if the county's going to get the vaccines. We don't know if the healthcare providers are going to get the vaccines. I got my vaccine from Kaiser. So depending on how they're distributed, these vaccines may go to the county. They may go to Kaisers of the world and the high desert medical groups. We don't know. But I think that's going to be the key, is tracking how these are distributed. And we've got Chris working on it in DC, keep an ear on the ground. And of course, we got the COVID team who's watching that closely as well. But at this point, we don't know. We don't know that the county's going to get them all, or we don't know that, they're going to distribute them by healthcare provider, or that you have to pay for them. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what I'm doing? I'm just raising hell now, so I don't have to raise hell when we deal with that.
You might be able to might try being nice. No.
How can I be nice when people are dying? People playing normal political games and it causes people to die. I don't know how to be nice in that situation. They ought to just be glad I'm not king, because their heads would be rolling by now. I guess I have a tendency to overreact when people start to die. All right, good. Again, thank you guys for being part of this. Wow, what a difference. Without you guys, there would have been something much, much worse. Okay.
We do need a motion on MB1.
Oh.
We need public comment first.
Oh.
Thank you.
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on MB1, please press star 9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. At this time, anyone wishing to comment on MB1, please press star 9. Caller with the last 4, 7298, please state your name.
Marie Earhart.
You may begin.
Hello. Please bear with me. This is my first time making a public comment. I appreciate all the hard work you're attempting to do, and I'm just learning primarily about the city council and what you're doing. I know you have to deal with a lot of information. I appreciate your hard work, and I hope that you may consider the rights of the individual citizens to make their own choices about whether to receive any kind of health care, health treatment. I pay my taxes. I'm a U.S. citizen. I've lived in Lancaster for 10 years. So just primarily, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
You know, I don't disagree with her. I think she has an absolute point. I just don't know how to balance it. I mean, I bet Tiffany wished somebody would have wore a mask. You know, I just don't know how to balance it. And, you know, but I don't think they're wrong. It's just, I don't think we have the luxury of that anymore. I think we've seen just how vulnerable we are as a society. We have to take measures to protect it. Any other speakers?
Yes, caller with the last four, 1391. Please state your name. Caller with the last four, 1391. Please state your name.
Chris Pursley.
You may begin.
I'm concerned. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm concerned. I think that 43 deaths in Lancaster, I feel like you're shooting flies with a bazooka. And I honestly, I think that it would be fair to the public if you would release the stats on the 43 that did die. Were there underlying conditions? What was the age? Are these people, because anyone I know who's died from it have been people that were expected to die anyway. As far as Daryl's comment with the shot, it's not just African-American people that don't want to take the flu shot. I got the flu last year after taking the shot, not from the injection, but I'm not usually a shot taker, and I don't think that it's fair to force people to take it when it's not known. People don't even want to immunize their children. It's just overkill. And it seems to me it's not warranted. The targeting of the churches, making them park still with spaces in between when I can go anywhere else in town, it just seems like we're not consistent in the things that we're doing here in the city, and this city is not defending its people. I would like to see everyone else take a 25% cut in pay, which is what you're asking restaurants and businesses to do. And I think we're adults. We can make a decision to go eat or go to church and be safe. We can wear masks, but I think it's overkill for 43 deaths in Lancaster in 6 months. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. But I do appreciate what you're trying to do. And I think the 10 in the hospital, how many of those are homeless people that there's nowhere to release them to? I thank you so much for listening, and this is the first time I've gotten on.
Thank you. You know, we appreciate the comments, but first of all the people on this call and all of the people on this Zoom, guess what? We're all going to die too. It's a certainty that we will all die too. But but it is our role as leaders of this community to delay that. I mean, nobody wants to pick up the phone when they get the call, you know, and we sure as heck don't want people getting called early. And you know, this idea that people had pre-existing conditions, yeah, that's true. COVID doesn't kill anybody. I mean, look at Tiffany. She's just plugging away, but she sure has been sick, you know, and it was needless and it was unnecessary. And I mean, we're in one of those times in history that the rights of the individual just have to yield to the health of the community. And, you know, 40 people, you're right. It could have been 400. You know, our death toll is really low. And that was for two reasons. One is I think we got people in masks earlier than anybody else. And these doctors, they reinvented how you treat this disease. They totally reinvented it right here in Lancaster and did it quickly without hesitation. And, you know, nobody asked the FDA for permission. They just saved a lot of lives. Now, sorry about your license, Larry. You really didn't need that license. I mean, what I mean is they took risks. And, you know, to say that this was not the emergency that we portrayed it is simply not accurate. It really was that big of an emergency. It was just that our response to it was rapid enough and early enough that I think if you do a per capita, you know, analysis, we're probably the lowest in the county, aren't we? Has anybody done that? You know, the cities that have a lower death rate also have a much lower population.
We're about half of LA County.
What do you mean about half?
We have our deaths per 100,000 population. The county of LA is double, more than double what we are.
Oh, so half of what the county did as a whole.
Yes, the county of LA, 55 deaths per 100,000. In the Antelope Valley, we are at 26 deaths per 100,000. So we're about that.
About that.
Wow, that's great. You know, some of those people were children, and some of those people were young. And, you know, there's not a person in this call that wouldn't run into a building to save one of those kids. All I'm asking people to do is wear their mask and get their vaccination. Now, I also think that if we'd been allowed to have local control of this, we wouldn't have closed any of the businesses. We would have just put these plans in. I'm sorry, what? Okay. Any other callers?
No other callers at this time.
Rex, before we move on, can we talk that we didn't make these rules to shut the restaurants down? We didn't make the rules to shut the churches down and put the restrictions on the churches. We didn't make any of those rules. Those rules are being laid down by the state and the county. And when the state says we can do it, the county is saying we can't do it. If we did have local control, it would have been and could have been a little bit differently. We weren't draconian on when we first came out with the mask, but we said it was a good idea. And that's what saved us. And but we didn't make these rules for the restaurants, the churches, the hairdressers, all the stuff like that. We didn't make this. The county and the state did. So I think that's important. And with that, I'll make a motion. We approve NB1.
I'll second it.
Okay. Could we call the roll, please?
City Council Member Doris?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes. Mayor
Paris?
Yes. Thank you.
Passes unanimously.
Okay. Hey, Allison, I've been getting calls from the breweries, you know, these small, what are they? I thought they were bars, but I guess if you brew your own beer, it's more than whatever, those guys.
Uh-huh.
And they have a good point. Why can't they open up in a parking lot like a restaurant if they enforce the same rules that a restaurant enforces? I think they got a good point.
I'll look into it.
Okay. Look into it enough to let the county know that if we have to file suit on their behalf, we will.
Got it.
I'm tired of people being run out of business needlessly. Okay.
I'll look into it.
Thank you. And the county hasn't been doing too well when these people file suits, you know. They've been losing those cases. All right. NB2, what do we got? Jason?
Wake up, Jason. Wake up.
Oh, Shannon's going to do it. Okay, let's hear it, Shannon.
Yes, Mayor Paris. As you're likely aware, we have a number of electric vehicle charging stations that have been installed throughout the city of Lancaster in an effort to facilitate the adoption of electric vehicles throughout our residents. So we performed an analysis to look at what the rates were. And we found that because we've partnered with different companies over time to install these, we were not necessarily uniform in those rates. So my staff, Patty Garibay, conducted an analysis to determine how we compared with other nearby cities and different types of chargers, both fast chargers and traditional chargers. So she identified that we actually have some chargers, including at AV Hospital, which I'm sure Dr. Stock may be able to attest to, that are actually charging roughly double what some other cities are charging for their EV chargers. So we would like to rectify that and bring these in line with costs that will, A, make sure that we're recovering all of our costs for providing this service, but also bring those rates in line with the other chargers and make those more affordable to help people adopt electric vehicles still further. So this proposal would help us to accomplish that.
Makes sense to me. Any questions from the council?
I do. The electric, has anyone gone to the ADA QMD and asked for a grant to help pay for these?
Yes, they actually, a number of these chargers were installed with the help of the AQMD, including those at AV Hospital. And we've been working with Brett of late to identify opportunities for additional ones. We have 3 that will be installed at City Hall or upgraded at City Hall, and we will also be providing some to the new Marriott adjacent to City Hall. I
understand the charging stations that are being put in, but as far as the electricity that goes in, we gave a grant to the hospital that allows them to give it to their students for free.
Okay.
So I can see charging a standard rate across the board and making that it, but we still should go in and see if we can get some money from the AVA QMD so they can charge for free.
Okay, absolutely. We will look into that.
Okay, is there a motion?
I need.
When you take public comment.
Oh, yeah. Any comment?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on NB2, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 of your call-in number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to speak on NB2.
Hearing no speakers, is there a motion?
Motion to approve NB2.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Andrea, would you call the roll, please?
City Councilmember Doris?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. Daryl?
Unanimously.
Yes.
We have the highest per capita number of minorities in Lancaster than anywhere in the county.
Yes.
We have the minority, a significant portion of the minority population doing protests for a lot of reasons. One of the things I don't see anybody protesting is that we're sending these kids home without any hope of them getting an education. And it's because the county will not share the CARES money that they are supposed to share with the city. If they would share that and give us just a little bit of our fair share, not all of it, we can put Wi-Fi into those neighborhoods and we can put education into that is equally available to everyone. We have taken segregation in regards to education and turned it into an art form. And make no question that in our city, the African American population does not have the access to the same education that the more affluent white population does. And I would like you to raise, can pastors raise hell?
We do it our own way.
I think we really have to embrace this. I mean, we have a program in place that if they would just give us a little bit of money that the federal government intended them to give us, we can put Wi-Fi in every one of those kids' hands. And they can at least have an equal chance of coming through this without being years behind. But it's an emergent situation at this point. The money is there. We have the vendor that can have this thing up and running in a matter of weeks. And the county tells us to go look for a grant. No, you got the grant. The federal government gave it to you. They entrusted it that you would share it with the cities based on population. And what you're doing is you're using it to build your Olympics, is what the rumor is out there. But I know one thing for darn sure is we are not getting our share. And it's the same people that didn't hesitate to fall down on their knees during those protests and act like they were so terribly concerned about the minority population. But when it comes time to actually do something for that population, I need you to get people upset about this, because we are going to lose an entire group of kids that if they do not have the opportunity to go to school like everyone else, meaning at home, with a computer, on the internet, they're going to be lost.
It's amazing you say that. I've just gotten requests from members asking, is there anything that the city can do to help with Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi? Because how bad the Wi-Fi is, because many, I think people are forgetting that it's such a pull on Wi-Fi right now that even the lower bandwidths are having issues along with the higher bandwidths. So we need that program in place. We can blanket the city with it. We will be the most technologically advanced city, and it's ready to go. And we just want a little bit of our fair share. So if letters, I know we can't decide on anything according, but if letters were written, hypothetically, who would they be written to? Would it be our supervisor, Catherine Barger, or the whole?
I think it has to be. I think it has to be written to the entire board, because right. Catherine would write the check tomorrow if she could.
Okay.
But, there's 5 of them, and we need 3 of them to quit talking about how socially progressive they are and start being socially progressive. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Sounds good.
Good. Okay. Did I go too far off script, Allison? Am I going to be arrested?
Not too far. We're not taking any action, so that's good. But we are ready for CA1.
I say it hypothetically.
Thanks, Gerald.
Okay, so hypothetically,
we're on to CA1.
Yes. What about Sean? You met with Sean, didn't you, Marvin?
I did. He's a unique individual. I'll second your motion to put him on the commission. I think he's going to work out. I think he's going to, we talked about his post. We talked about that he has to represent the entire city from the commission. And he was very applicable to that. So very good, a young man.
Good. I'm glad that was a successful meeting. I've always liked Sean, like, when he's not being young, right? He's okay. Do we need any speakers, Andrea?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on CA1, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on CA1. Caller with the last four 7298. Please state your name. Caller with the last four 7298. Please state your name.
My name is Marie Earhart, and I wanted to let you know I'm an American, and I vote for representation that upholds and defends the United States Constitution. I pray, I hope to vote for officials who are proud of our U.S. history and heritage. I hope that you would consider addressing your constituents, residents of Lancaster, as Americans, because I'm an American. And I'll consider all the things I'm learning about the mayor and the city council, all those things I'll take into consideration when it's my time to cast my vote. Thank you for your time.
So, did I just lose a vote? You know, I understand people are upset. I get it, and I wish that it was America as usual, but it simply is not. And we will make the best decisions we can until this crisis is over. And we will make those decisions with the goal of improving the well-being of everybody in the city of Lancaster. And that's just the way it's going to be. And, you know, I get that I'm going to make a few people upset. All right, council reports. Do we have any? Oh, we got a vote, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Sean, I almost dropped you. You almost didn't make it again. All right, Andrea, call the roll.
City Councilmember Doris?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. You know, it occurs to me we're walking into this election and we got all these people running to school board and different councils, and have any of them come out and said, okay, I'm going to make certain that 80% of our kids get vaccinated and then we won't have a flu season, you know? Has anybody said, well, I'm going to help the city get this Wi-Fi up and running in the neighborhoods? Has anybody embraced any of this, you know, or do they just hide and hope people vote for them because of their good intentions? And Heather, I want you to talk to the Equity Commission about what are they going to do to make certain these kids get educated, that they get the Wi-Fi in their neighborhoods, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good, thank you. Can you tell I'm on a rant today? I don't know why I am. Council reports, do we got any?
I do. At ABTA, we were able to kick off our service to Lake Los Angeles, Little Rock, Pear Blossom in a different manner. It's a call-in service now. Many times we take out a 40-foot to 60-foot bus out to Lake Los Angeles and nobody comes back with it. So it's a cost analysis that we did, and we're able to buy smaller buses. We did get a grant for those. We bought smaller buses, and we're able to send them out on individual calls now. So they will be able to call in, and we'll be able to go get them and take them and put them into the system. So it's a big day. It's another big change for ABTA. The fairgrounds was able to hold the Kiwanis Junior Livestock Auction. All the council participated in it. It was almost a record for the participation, but it was very, very, it went off very well, and the kids got some of their money back. So it was good, and appreciate all the council's support for that.
Thank you, Marvin. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mayor Paris, just want to give you an update. We had our annual meeting for Destination Lancaster and reviewed the financial reports. They haven't been audited, but we ended with a positive year, about 150,000 net. That wasn't the original goal, but because we were hopeful that we could have spent that to drive more activity to the hotels. But the good news is, in doing our audit, we were taken by surprise in that the hotels performed much better than we anticipated. In fact, we're only off about 3% against last year.
Wow.
And you got to stop and take a look.
Yeah.
That's got 3 months worth of COVID in it, or 3.5, let's say. So we were pleasantly surprised.
Good. That's good.
And yeah, and then changing of the guard based on our bylaws, I handed the gavel over to Ron Emart.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Tiffany, when I'm talking about the flu vaccine program and the COVID vaccine program in relationship to the churches, and I'm not saying that I want it mandatory that the people take it. I'm saying I want a mandatory that they have availability, that the program is available to the people who want to take the shot. And I realized after that last caller went up that perhaps I'm being misunderstood. I don't want to hold anybody down and make them take a shot, but I do want those shots available to every single person that wants one, and as few obstacles as possible. And that's the goal. Okay.
We can work on that. Yeah, that's the goal with the testing program too. So absolutely.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any agency authority comments? Hearing none, moving forward. I guess we're done, aren't we?
We need to do public comments from the floor on non-agendized items.
We also need to hear from Jason.
We got to hear from Jason. Jason, you got anything to tell us?
As well as council comments, because I've got something I'd like to share too, Mayor.
Okay.
Ken's got me beat.
Do you want me to move forward, Jason? I thought we would do that prior to adjournment, or no?
That's fine, however you want to do it. Just a couple things from my end, and I'll share my screen here. I'll try to see how this works. Had a successful food drive recently, and Daryl attended, and I'll just see if I can share my screen here. We got a short video that we can go over. I think it's a real cool opportunity to not only for the community, but to see that what are the challenges that our community is facing. But let's try this out and press play.
Hello, I'm Councilman Daryl Doris, and we're here at the Free Food Drive where hundreds, maybe even thousands of people have showed up. And we want to just thank Supervisor Catherine Barger. She is doing a wonderful job, and she has provided and helped to boost this free food drive. We went to the schools, went to the neighborhoods, we're on social media, and we're just giving away thousands and thousands of pounds of food to the most vulnerable, to those that need it the most. And we just want to let people know that we are here to help the community. And so shout out to Catherine Barger, shout out to Antelope Valley Partners for Health, shout out to Project Door Drop. We just want to let everyone know that we appreciate you. We in the city love you. On behalf of Mayor Paris and the City Council, we want to let you know that we are here for you during this time of COVID, and we are going to get through this. So we want you to be well, stay safe, stay informed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, as you can tell, Daryl can attest, there was a line around the corner, literally around the block. So I don't know if you want to share, Daryl.
It never stopped. It really was amazing how many people were there in line. I didn't know whether to be excited that we had all the food or be sad that it was so many people there to receive. I kind of had a mixed feeling, but I was glad that I believe it was 2 semis, Jason, worth of food. And we left early, and it still was just a line just kept going, and we stayed for a couple of hours. So there is a need out there, and it's just a blessing to have these type of programs going and to see Lancaster pull together like that. It really is. It's amazing.
You know, I don't want my obsessive compulsive personality to reveal itself, but, you know, we could have been giving out flu shots when they got the free flu.
We could have. Actually, you could have, really.
You know, and so I want us to start thinking about you know, leveraging
They could have stuck their arm out and got it right then and there. Seriously, yeah.
Good. Next time. Okay.
Yep. Another item, if you remember, towards the beginning of the COVID incident, the council had requested staff to look into an opportunity to help those that are in convalescent care, specifically the seniors and elderly as related to their loneliness. We have a short video to share some of the feedback we got from that, but it is a touching video. We had our impact team, a bunch of young, upstanding young folks that are heading that program with us and just done a wonderful job. So I'm going to share my screen again. It worked the first time. Let's see if it does it again. And we'll show the video.
The Dodgers won last night.
Good for them. About time.
Yeah. Are you a sports fan?
Yeah.
Do you like the Dodgers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I haven't watched them for a long time, but then they won last night, so that's okay.
Yeah, they won against the Giants.
Oh, right. That's better yet.
Did you work too?
Yeah, I worked for Bank of America for years.
Oh.
In fact, Ronald Reagan came. We had to learn about banking and different things like that. They put a big office in one of our grounds, and I went to work with him for quite a while.
Wow, that's cool.
I know he was cool. He was a great guy.
Yeah, my grandma called me a doll. It's like a Korean cultured doll. It's like this small.
Oh. Yeah, the small doll.
Yeah, do you want to see it? I have it. You have it? Yes. It's in my drawer.
Oh, it's in your room?
Mm-hmm. It's in this box. It's this small.
Oh. Yeah. Oh,
It's like the, oh, that's cute.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have I ever traveled?
Yeah, like anywhere else besides Germany.
I have been around the world.
Really?
My children have both traveled air miles, 75,000 air miles, by the time they were 10 and 7. My ex-husband was in the Air Force, and so we first lived. My son Robert was born in Arizona, and 2 years later we were in Alaska, and Mark was born in Alaska. Mm-hmm. And then we went to Illinois from there. From Illinois, we went for 3 years to Saudi Arabia. We lived in Saudi Arabia for 3 years, and then came home, got out of the military, and settled down in Lake LA so the kids could go to high school here in California.
So as you can see, not only did they get some of the conversation and connection that they were looking for, but I think our impact team probably learned more from it than they would have learned from anything else. So just a great experience. They're still doing that in partnership with some of those homes. So it's just been a great success, and it was a great vision from you guys, and glad we could implement it well. And last is, as you can see, if you drive around the community, construction is happening on our major arterials. We've done a lot of work that have gone into the residential streets that many of us live by, and that you guys live by as well. We're starting to get into the major arterials, and those obviously have a much greater impact in traffic and movement. But it is it's obviously one of our greatest assets, our road system. We heard it loud and clear from the council and the community that roads are important. So I would say pardon our dust is probably an overused cliche, because it's more than dust, actually big holes in the ground. But nonetheless, we appreciate the patience from the driving public knowing that in an effort to maintain our street system the way you guys expect it to be maintained, we have to endure some of these construction challenges. And at the same token, I want to give a shout out to our construction team. I get texted at 11 o'clock at night when they're trying to dig up the streets in the middle of the night to make it easier on the traveling public. They're the ones that are out there, slinging dirt, getting stuff done. So shout out to our capital team, our inspectors, our designers, everything else, because you're going to see a significant amount of road construction going on over the next few months, or the next few years, frankly. So be patient, and we're getting that done and working as fast as we can. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jason. You guys are doing an incredible job.
We have a great team that works tirelessly to keep doing better.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Okay, is that it? Now we got a public comment, right?
Correct.
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on non-agendized items, please press star 9. I will announce the last 4 of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits council from taking actions on items that are not listed on the agenda. Please press star 9 at this time to comment on non-agendized items.
May I speak, Mayor?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I just bring something up real quickly?
Of course.
So with respect to the church influenza system that we're going to make happen, if there are any willing volunteers out there in the community who would like to help me brainstorm that, and anybody else, of course, on council, anywhere, that wants to work together on that, I would really, really appreciate some feedback, especially from the leadership from the places of worship, because your congregation's the best, and how we can better reach them to best help them. The same thing goes for the testing program. If there are specific needs with respect to testing that anybody needs out there, please don't hesitate to reach out. What we have in place is what we have in place, but 3 weeks ago we didn't have that in place, so we can definitely make adjustments, and the goal is to make it much more available for rapid testing, rapid scheduling, and rapid testing for anybody and everybody that needs or wants a test. So, and my goal is to make flu shots the same way.
Okay, where do you want them to reach? Do it through the city? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's probably the easiest. My city email, which is just ttanner@cityoflancasterca.org.
Okay, do you have an email address with the city now?
Yes, it's ttanner.
So that'd be the best way to do it.
Yep.
Great. Okay, wonderful. So, Larry and Dr. Trong, is there anything that we can do for you to make this better?
No, thank you very much. Things are going well. We work well together, me, Larry, Jason, and Tiffany, and we meet a lot and appreciate the time and your support. The good things you say in public about us makes us feel good. Thank you.
Good.
I would say, and I said this to the group today, Mayor and Council, that the greatest thing we have in the city going for us is leadership, and what you guys have done early on and consistently has made a huge difference in saving lives, because you've helped focus people in doing what they can do to empower themselves to save their own lives and to protect the people they care about around them. And that's why our community is doing so well. Let's keep that up.
Agreed.
And let's be clear. I mean, if the churches hadn't joined hands with us and really worked at doing this, I'm just very impressed with them. I mean, they made enormous sacrifices, and they worked really hard just to be able to have services without infecting people, and they were successful. That is what is so remarkable about all of this. Okay, so everybody wear your masks, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and we can all live a long, happy life, I hope. You guys are wonderful. I'm so proud to be able to work with you. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 22nd.
Mayor, if I may, I know that we're ready to move on, but I'd like to make a request that we allow staff to go back and revisit our current ordinance in regards to the shopping carts. I think given the circumstances of what the city's encountered the last 2 to 3 months with proliferation of shopping carts, I just think that although I'm not anti-business and never have been, I think maybe with the turn of events of what has occurred since the last time we took a look at it, I think we're in store to go back and maybe it's time for a change. And I'm going to give a couple examples. 2 years ago, we had, I think, and Jason could probably correct me, I don't know if it was 200 or 300 shopping carts that had caught on fire that were underneath a underpass for one of the major streets here in Lancaster. And then just of recent, I know the city picked up close to 80 at the intersection of Avenue K and 12th Street West. And I just think it's time for us to take a look at how we're handling that. And I know that if we take a look at who has shopping carts, it's most of the businesses that have flourished during the COVID outbreak. So if we take a look, it's all the major, whether it's Target or Walmart or to name names, some of the grocery stores. And I just think it's time for us to take a look at that as leaders. I think that's key. And then I have a second thing to share, but I definitely think that it's time for us to revisit that ordinance. And I don't know.
Personally, I think we ought to confiscate them and sell them. I mean, isn't there's we can monetize this. I'm telling you, I mean, seriously, the solution is very simple for the stores. They just install those devices that correct the wheels when they leave. And if they don't want to go to that expense, that's okay. I mean, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything, but couldn't we, like strip off the Walmart sign and resell them?
We've done this research. There are shocking controls and limitations we have with shopping carts, including impounding them and notification. And so it is a significant challenge in dealing with these. I mean, it's kind of like a vehicle. So there's no fee that we can charge if we get them for a certain period of time. So it's complicated, but I understand what Ken's saying. I think they're saying there may be a better way to do this. And
yeah, I just think that, society has changed. I know that we're dealing with COVID, and the last thing we want is like what occurred here a year and a half, 2 years ago, where all those shopping carts were, how in the heck those guys couldn't miss all that stuff. But 200, 300 underneath Surface Street, God forbid, nobody was hurt. And then we didn't have a bunch of structural problems with that street. So I really think we need to take a look at it.
Allison, why don't you look into whether or not we can actually, pass some type of ordinance where there's a fine? I mean, if you let your cart off your premises and we have to pick it up, there's a fine that comes with it. See if that's a possibility.
All right, I'll look into that and other options to get it under control.
Okay, good.
That would be helpful. And then lastly, before you adjourn the meeting, one of the things I attribute to our success is yourself, the two doctors. We did a lot of pre-work and then a lot of heavy work, heavy lifting at the very beginning of COVID. And I think when we speak about the flu shot, I think it really comes down to, just like the doctors shared with us about, I'm a firm believer of science and data, statistics. That's where some of the best decisions are made. I really think we need to go back out on the road, whether we help Tiffany or however it's done, but I really think we need to be cheerleaders, use the doctors, and I really think that we need to go head on with these flu shots. And again, people are going to make choices. Some people are going to say, hey, look, it's not for me, but I think we really need to work on the education piece.
Well, obviously, but I also think that we're standing on the abyss of bankruptcy as an entire nation over something that was unnecessary. And it's because, I mean, I've just lost patience with this thing. You can't tell me to wear a mask.
Yeah.
You know, I
didn't mean to get you back on your soapbox. Yeah, I didn't mean to get you back on your soapbox, but I just think that education worked in the beginning.
He did, didn't he? All right, I got your point. Okay, can we go home now? I want to go eat dinner. I mean, we're all home, but I want to go eat. Can we do that now? Heather, I want to thank you for doing such a great job with this equity commission and putting these young people together. And I think I have great hopes for it. You're doing a good job. Thank you. But while I got you here, I need to know that we have a vaccination program for the homeless. Let's not play catch up. Let's get that up and running. Okay.
We do even in non-COVID years, we go out with outreach teams as well as a nurse and do flu vaccinations as well as hepatitis A whenever we have outbreaks.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, folks. Love you all. Next meeting's Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020 at 5 p.m. Have a great week. Wear your mask. Be safe. Wash your hands and stop touching your face. Bye.